we're going to kind of shift into talking about speeches, public speaking aspect of the course. Since your all's upcoming assignment, you have to do a 4 to 6 minute presentation to the class. Your final project, you'll have to do an 8 to 10 minute presentation to the class. So just keeping in mind it's a writing and a public speaking class to get those requirements out of the way for the university. So I want to take a step back and define ethos, pathos, and logos. So a common misconception is that you choose one or the other when you're making a speech or making an argument. But ethos, pathos, and logos are always working all of the time. And we're just working on breaking down how they're working. So, can you all tell me what ethos means? It was in your chapter 1 reading. Yeah, Sam.
Isn't the one where you like appeal to your like credibility kind of a thing? Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm a doctor. I know healthcare is like this because you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So ethos is going to be the character of the speaker. Using credentials is definitely a way to show your ethos. Good job. Awesome. What about pathos? Let's go, Sarah.
Like using emotion to make the audience feel certain.
Absolutely. What are some ways, because Sam gave us an example and a definition of ethos, what are some ways you can infuse emotion into an argument? Sarah, you can answer if anyone else has an idea. Yeah, Jack.
Would you try to like appeal to their emotions?
Yeah, but how, can you think of a way, like, you would do that? Like, give an example, or? In writing or speaking, television, anything you all have seen.
Could you use like a commercial to try to appeal to someone being like hungry and then wanting them to go like buy whatever you're trying to sell?
Yeah, so that you're going to be using imagery, right? Because you're going to have the burgers going to look really good. Or we talked kind of before how people will be trying to sell a burger, but it's like a girl in a bikini. And, appealing that that's not really a logical argument, right? It's an emotional connection. Another thing I like to think about, like if you watch, especially since we're moving into Halloween, like horror movies, if you watch a horror movie without sound, like a lot of times it's not even scary. So thinking about the way they use music to build suspense. This will have to do with word choice, your tone. Great. And lastly, what is logos?
Logic, like using.
Yeah, so it's going to be the structure of your argument. So the book got into inductive reasoning versus deductive reasoning. So choosing which form makes the best sense for your argument. Logos is going to. So all of these things are always there. In every speech, every argumentative paper, advertisement, everything. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna watch 2 speeches from very different occasions. So one is eulogy from Robin Williams' funeral, and the other's a wedding toast. It's a clip from the movie Bridesmaids. So I want to watch both of these. I want you all to take some notes while we watch the two, because we're going to talk about them at the end. I want you to note the way the speakers are using ethos, pathos, logos. So when you watch them, just write down that, and then we're going to compare how they're different and how they're the same. Because the situation doesn't get much more different than a wedding toast versus speech at a funeral. But I think when we break it down, you'll be surprised at how similar they can be. So yeah, the first one is like a real eulogy, and the wedding toast is like supposed to be comedic, so that'll be pretty different. But just write down what you notice in these three categories. We'll watch both of them before we talk. We won't watch this. Oh yeah, we will watch them. There was a longer clip, but I picked the short one. I'll turn the lights off so it's easier to see.
He made us laugh hard. Every time you saw him on television, movies, nightclubs, arenas, hospitals, homeless shelters for our troops overseas, and even in a dying girl's living room for her last wish. He made us laugh, big time. I spent many happy hours with Robin on stage. I mean, the brilliance was astounding. The relentless energy was kind of thrilling. I used to think if I could just put a saddle on him and stay on for 8 seconds, I was going to do okay. Robin Whoopi and I once were in Shea Stadium in the broadcast booth with the great Tim McCarver. It was Comic Relief Day for the New York Mets, and Robin knew nothing about baseball. I asked him, what's your favorite team? And he said, the San Franciscos. So he was a little lost in the conversation, so I got an idea, and I said, you know, Tim, we have a great Russian baseball player with us. And I looked over, his eyes got all bright, his ears perked up. And look, he was a little dog that was inside all day, and the master came and said, hey, you want to go for a walk? So I said, what's baseball like in Russia? Without missing a beat, he said, well, we only have one team, the Reds. Well, the next pitch, the batter foul went off. It came screaming back at us. We ducked down and slammed against the wall. Robin turned around and bounced into his hands, and he stood up and screamed, I love America, I'm gonna defend. He could be funny anywhere. We were such close friends. He would come to all of our great family functions, weddings, bar mitzvahs, that kind of thing. And he would sit with my older immigrant relatives, like he was one of the guys. And he would tell them about his journey from his little shtetl in Poland to America. One uncle of mine said, I came to America after World War II and I hitchhiked. And Robin said, I waited till there was a 747 and a kosher meal. Well, as genius as he was on stage, he was the greatest friend you could ever imagine. Supportive, protective, loving. It's very hard to talk about him in the past because he was so present in all of our lives. For almost 40 years, he was the brightest star in the comedy galaxy. But while some of the brightest of our celestial bodies are actually extinct now, their energy long since cooled, but miraculously, because they float in the heavens so far away from us now, their beautiful light will continue to shine on us forever. And the glow will be so bright, it'll warm your heart, it'll make your eyes glisten, and you think to yourselves, Robin Williams, what a concept.
Great. I'll give you all a minute to finish writing down anything. And then a wedding toast.
Enough me. Let's get the move on. Annie?
Hi, Annie Walker.
Yay!
I'm not going to go on with a big speech, so I'll just say this. I'm so happy to be a part of this celebration, and you two deserve each other, as well as a lifetime of happiness. Cheers. Love you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you, Annie. That was so sweet. Thank you. Lil, remember that trip we took to Miami with the boys? And we were working the entire weekend, and we just sat and drank wine and ate peanut brittle, and I shared things with you that I've never shared with anyone. And you made me realize how I can trust people again. So let me just say, Lillian, you're my best friend. And I'm so proud of you. And Jack Lee, I'm sorry, inside joke. You better not keep my Lil on a leash because I still need my drunken Saturday nights at Rockin' Sushi, okay? Everybody, raise your glass to the couple of the decade, Doug and Lillian. Have a great night. Dessert wine is out.
I just wanted to say really quick that you're so special to me because, well, one of the reasons is because I've known you my whole entire life, and you really helped shape who I am. I just want to thank you for carefully selecting me as your maid of honor. And you had some other choices, but you're like my sister, and I love you. Well, that concludes the speeches for the night.
Thank you. One last thing. I swear to meet someone as an adult who you really connect with, and that's you, Will. I went to Thailand recently with my husband Perry, and there's a beautiful saying that I learned there. Kun ben song nong kung chan, sung chan jagat madai, my ben chin. It means you are a part of me, a part that I could never live without, and I hope and I pray that I never have to. Kap kun ka. Kap kun ka. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for coming. Really quick, thank you all for coming.
I just wanted to say really
Dessert
quick.
wine is out. Consuela?
Really quick, speaking of Consuelo, Lillian and I took Spanish together in school. And so I would just like to say to you and to everyone here, gracias para vivir en la casa, en las escuelas, en el azul marcada, tienes con vivir en las fochtwas. And gracias.
Thank you. I feel so close to you and can trust you. You're my angel and soulmate, and I feel I can communicate with you with simply a look. Thank you for coming.
Lillian. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are
Okay, great. I'll turn the lights back on. I don't know. Oh, I was asleep. Oh, you all see anything with these two speeches had in common? Happy memories, yeah. Lauren, was that, did you have something?
Heavy use of pathos.
Yeah. Do you have examples of how each one or the other was using pathos?
Both of them, I feel like we're using past experiences of like good times, happy memories, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And these like events, this rhetorical situation, there's already a lot of emotion there in a wedding or a funeral. So they're tapping into that. It's great. Any other things you all noticed that they have in common? And what about how they're different? Yeah.
Was the bridesmaid one just trying? The two girls were trying to get the one who's getting married to see which one she liked.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, the one with the short blonde hair is the maid of honor, and she's like her old friend. And then the brunette one's like her new friend, but she's got like a lot of money, and it's like her adult friend. But yeah, I like that example because it really shows a battle of ethos, right? They're trying to establish their credibility as this girl's best friend. What are some ways they were doing that? Yeah, Sam.
One of the girls was like, I was in Spanish with you in school, and one appealed to like how they would go out and get drunk at like a sushi bar or something, and then one would just say that I've been your childhood friend forever, so they kept kind of going back and forth.
Exactly. One is using like longevity of the friendship, and the other is talking about like how frequently they see each other and they're always together. Right. So, any thinking about how we talked about how they use ethos by sharing the memories that can bring up some emotion. I wanted to point out in the Robin Williams eulogy, the image of the dying girl in the room. Like he says, even in the dying girl's living room for her last wish, like it's a real quick image. But that's a really emotional image to convey to the audience, and it really says a lot about like Robin Williams' character.
Should that be pathos and ethos?
Pathos. I'm sorry, I said ethos, right? I meant to say pathos. Thank you. I'm not very good at public speaking, by the way, so I'm sorry you have to learn this from me. I'm much more a writer than I am a speaker. But so bringing in, that's showing how you can bring imagery in. Ethos, you have much more sharing personal stories of being with him, how they work together, how he went to their family events, showing how close they are. Did you all notice anything about the logos, the structure of these speeches, either how they were in common or different? Yeah.
Was the bridesmaid one that like kept going on each other?
Yeah.
That's it.
Definitely. Do you think that's conventional?
Yes.
So that one, they kept kind of trying to end the speech, and then someone would go back up, right? Anything else you all noticed about the logos or structure of these?
First
we'll
I
go.
was just trying to like focus on, there was just one person talking about the good about Robin, and the second one was like the two girls trying to like ask each other to like see which one the bride likes better.
Yeah. And how do you think the bride felt about that?
Like kind of embarrassed.
Right.
At first it was like fine, but then it just kept going on.
Yeah, you can see her kind of like cringing, and probably wasn't the best example of how to give a wedding toast. And Lauren, did you have something on that?
I was gonna say the structure
Yeah. Anything else you all noticed about the structure? I also want to point out in the Robin Williams eulogy how he really started sharing just stories of Robin Williams, but then he went into like kind of an overall insight about grief, if you all noticed that. Kind of started talking about people as stars, and really moved from specific, and that's something, hopefully you haven't been to very many funerals, but that's something that you'll see people using a lot in a eulogy. And even in the bridesmaid speech, the one she kind of tried to move away from their friendship into talking about love with that quote from Thailand, right? So that was something I noticed that they had in common in their structure. They're not argumentative speeches, so we're not really talking about deductive or inductive reasoning here. So you guys are gonna split into partners. Basically, I've just counted. So you can just do Kayla and Karima, and then Lauren and Ava, Sarah and Sarah, Nick and Sam, Violet and Leah, Leo and Gerard, and then Jack and Joe. Gerard, right behind you. Yeah. So if you guys just split into partners, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and so we'll do 5 minutes each. So decide whether you're going to write a toast or a eulogy. You're going to ask your partner a couple things that you need to know for that speech. Write a quick speech and then switch. So if you're writing, Jack, if you're writing a toast for Joe, you'll start by asking him some questions that you need. Write a quick. You're not reading these out loud, don't worry.